Hi everyone, I'm Mesa. Today I'm gonna present our workbook summary of Chapter 5. The chapter is about the most common logical fallacies. And in general, these are fallacies that are both frequently committed and often psychologically persuasive. And there are two subheadings. The first one is the concept of relevance, and the second one is fallacies of relevance. And we analyze also the second subheadings. Personal attack, attacking the motive, look who is talking, two wrongs make a right, scare tactics, appeal to pity, bandwagon argument, straw man, red herring, equivocation, begging the question. And if you are ready, let's look at. We encounter arguments all over the place in books, advertisement, in TV talk shows, political speeches, in newspapers. Some of these arguments are sound and persuasive, but many are fallacies. Well, what's the meaning of fallacy? Let's look. Logical fallacy, or fallacy for short, is an argument that includes a mistake in reasoning. And there are many common logical fallacies. The simplest way is to divide such fallacies into two broad groups. First one is logical fallacies of relevance, and the other one fallacies of insufficient evidence. First one, fallacies of relevance, is a group of fallacies that occur in argument when the premises are logically irrelevant to conclusion. And the other one, fallacies of insufficient evidence, are mistakes in reasoning that occur because the premises, though logically relevant to the conclusion, fail to offer sufficient evidence to support the conclusion. And the concept of relevance, to say that one statement is relevant to another is to say that it counts either for or against that other statement. In other words, a statement is relevant to another statement if it provides at least some reason for thinking that the second statement is true or false. And there are three ways in which a statement can be relevant or irrelevant to another. The first one is positively relevant. Positively relevant, a statement is positively relevant to another statement if it counts in favor of that statement. And there is an example about positively relevant. Let's look. All dogs have 5 legs. Rover is a dog, so Rover has 5 legs. This premise is positively relevant to its conclusion, and this premise provides reason for thinking that the conclusion is true. And the other one, negatively, the second one, negatively relevant. Statements that count against other statements are said to be negatively relevant to those statements. And there is example, Altia is 2 years old, so Altia probably goes to college. And the premise negatively relevant to the conclusion. The premise provides at least some reason for thinking that the conclusion is false. The other one, logically irrelevant. A statement is logically irrelevant to another statement if it counts neither for nor against that statement. And there is example, the earth revolves around the sun. Therefore, marijuana should be legalized. And this premise provides no the slightest reason for thinking that the conclusion is either true or false. Thus, this is logically irrelevant to the conclusion. And let's move. Fallacies of relevance. Fallacies of relevance seem to be good, but are not. A fallacy of relevance happens when a arguer offers reasons that are logically irrelevant to his or her conclusion. And now we look at 11 fallacies of relevance. And the first one is personal attack. Personal attack is an attempt to discredit someone's argument by personally attacking them. Instead of discussing the argument itself, criticism is directed toward the opponent's character, which is irrelevant to the discussion. And there's the example. Let's look. While the professor makes some good points in class, he doesn't believe in God, so I don't listen to a thing he has to say. And the other one, attacking the motive. Attacking the motive is a subcategory of an personal attack in which the second arguer attacks the first arguer's thesis by challenging his motives behind his argument. And attacking the motive is the error of criticizing a person's motivation for offering a particular argument or claim rather than examining the word of the argument or claim itself. And there's the example. Thomas Hahn has argued that we need to give money to ASB, but Thomas is a member of ASB. Obviously, his argument is a lot of self-serving nonsense. Let's move the other one. Look who is talking. It involves the accusation of hypocrisy against someone instead of engaging with their argument. And let's look at the definition. The fallacy of look who is talking is counted when an arguer denies another person's argument or claim because that person fails to apply what he preaches. And there is an example. Alice advised us to exercise regularly. Alice does not exercise regularly, therefore her recommendation must be rejected. And the other one, two wrongs make a right. An arguer attempts to justify a wrongful act by claiming that some other act is just as bad or worse. And there is an example. My parents drink a bottle of wine every night, so it's all right if I think a six-pack on the weekend. Can say. And the other one, scare tactics. This is a strategy intended to manipulate public opinion about an issue to raise fear or alarm. And scare tactics exaggerate the possible dangers well beyond their statistical likelihood. And the fallacy of scare tactics is committed when an arguer threatens harm to a reader or listener if he or she does not acknowledge the arguer's conclusion. And there is an example. David, my father owns the department store that gives your newspaper 15% of all its advertising revenue. So I'm sure you want to publish a story of my arrest for spray painting the college. Newspaper editor, yes, David, I see your point. The story really is not newsworthy. The other one, appeal to pity. The attempts to distract from the truth of conclusion by the use of pity. It happens when an arguer inappropriately attempts to promote feeling of pity or compassion from his listener or readers. And there is the example, Ginger, your dog just ran into our house and ransacked our kitchen. And Mary, he would never do that. Look at how adorable he is with those puppy eyes, we can say. And the other one, bandwagon argument, is a fallacy based on the assumption that the opinion of the majority is always valid. That is, everyone believes it, so you should too. It's also named appeal to popularity. A bandwagon argument is one that plays on a person's desire to be popular, accepted, or valued rather than appealing to logically relevant reasons or evidence. And there is example. Half of Americans believe in ghosts. They must be real. And the other one, straw man, occurs when someone distorts or exaggerates another person's argument and then attacks the distorted version of the argument instead of genuinely engaging. And there's example, those who defend for environmental protection are clearly against progress and economic development. Let's move. The other one, red herring, is an attempt to redirect a conversation away from its original topic. It's used by introducing an irrelevant piece of information that distracts the reader or listener focus. And there is example, avoiding the question. For example, when questioned about his late project submission, John mentioned how many hours he's been working lately. The other one, equivocation, is an informal fallacy resulting from the use of particular word in multiple senses within an argument. It's a type of ambiguity. And equivocation is committed when a keyword is used in two or more senses in the same argument. And there is example, a feather is light, therefore a feather cannot be dark, for example. And the last one, begging the question. Begging the question is an argument where the conclusion is assumed in one of premises. It's an attempt to prove something is true while simultaneously talking that something for granted, taking that something for granted. And there is an example. Paranormal activity is real because I have experienced what can only be described as paranormal activity. All we can say as an example. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening.